The main event, we've waited for it, for the women's championship, Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. And no, I did not fast forward through Io Shirai's match for you, Brian, because I want to see Rhea Ripley. And I will admit that Io Shirai is not of the Riho or the Freddie Mercury Sakura Emmy category.
Can I stop you right now?
What?
I agree. I think Io Shirai is really good. But it just made me think, how ridiculous. For a few months, we had to deal with AEW just debuts on TV. And one of the first wrestlers on all those early shows is Emi Sakura, who
is a cross-dressing Freddie Mercury.
She would come out with a mustache.
The mustache.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's been so long that just thinking about it.
But see, now I was trying to go in a positive direction here. And you just take me back. But she's a very fine, accomplished female wrestler. All right. However, as we alluded to earlier, what in the flying French fried titty fuck are they doing? Rhea Ripley is the biggest star in women's wrestling by the time that her entrance is over. The biggest star. Notice star, the word star. I'm not saying she's the best worker, although she's excellent. She's actually a better worker than most of the athletic move-doing women.
That's right.
She has the best look in the company. She, as we've mentioned, she's an action movie star waiting to happen. Even if they didn't want to bring her up because of her youth now, and they think she can get even better, start protecting her now. If she can't win a match like this, don't put her in it. It's ridiculous. She is, to me, in the entire cast right now, with Becky Lynch pregnant and Charlotte injured and out of action, she's the biggest star in women's wrestling. They need to start marketing this ASAP. She can sell, she can register, she can react. She can work with her body language and her facials, but she starts at the way that and I'm not even saying that this should have been a squash, but except for a couple of brief nods early on to big girl, little girl, the fact that there was a 1 foot size difference didn't play in this match. I have not seen anybody, including Charlotte, woman handle and beat the shit out of Rhea Ripley like this 5'1", 120-pound girl. They could have had a competitive match like Ernie Ladd and Ricky Morton instead of like fucking two guys the same size or two people the same size. Ripley started off early having to play duck and dodge and or sell for a girl a foot shorter who looks like she should be a featherweight champion. And then within a minute, Shirai had slipped off the ropes on the turnaround crossbody attempt because she was a little too short to make it up there. But the point is, Rhea Ripley was trying to do Io Shirai's match instead of the other way around. We say this all the time. Nobody gets it. This match should have been built, even if Rhea Ripley wasn't going to win it, wasn't going to go over in the finish, it should have been built to showcase Ripley more and Shirai being the underdog. Think Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. More than this was way too much of Io Shirai in control at the start, at the middle, and at the end. But they always now, they shine the faces at the start of every match, even if it makes no sense in the context of this matchup, because that's what you're supposed to do. Babyface shines at the start, then you get the heat. Sometimes it needs to be the opposite, as we've gone through on the program. When you've got somebody that obviously can overpower their opponent, use that early and let the opponent's wittiness and speed and trickery and resourcefulness come out, then they shine, blah, blah, blah. But, as soon as Rhea Ripley got a heat spot, they went to the break, and you didn't see 3 minutes of her heat. But then, again, when they came back, Io Shirai's comeback was everything that Rhea Ripley shouldn't do or take. It was like there was no size difference. And then when Ripley got her earring ripped and got the ear juiced, that, she could have fired up there, but they had to go to another break. because this was going quite long at this point. Not again, I wasn't not enjoying it, but it's going long for Rhea Ripley to carry this much smaller opponent. And there they are standing there toe-to-toe trading. I wrote, she's trading with this beautiful giant beast, and here's this little tiny girl. And finally, Ripley gets her cloverleaf hold, that great with one arm even. And Shirai gets to the ropes. Ripley almost got the gotch lift, but Io continues to kick the shit out of her. I wrote, a Japanese high school cheerleader is destroying the female Rock. Finally, Io Shirai foils the fucking Riptide and DDTs Ripley. Then did the spot where she power bombed her off the apron across the announce desk. So she's juiced Rhea Ripley, whether intentionally or not. She's still bleeding. Then she power bombs her off the apron across the announce desk. And then as Ripley beats the count in, Io hits the moonsault, boom, 1, 2, fucking 3. What the and I know everybody's going to say, well, see, that it took all that to beat her. No, that's what they told Rhea Ripley to get her to do the job, I'm sure. But what it means is that's what Io Shirai was able to do to Rhea Ripley. So when they find a legitimate top female superstar that a mainstream audience might be able to buy, such as Rhea Ripley, against Rhea Ripley, such as a Charlotte, or even a Becky Lynch if she ever shows up again. This little girl, Io, has just kicked the shit out of Rhea Ripley and beat her. If you weren't going to put that belt on her and start shoving her to the fucking moon, don't book the match. Everybody else gets a shitty non-finish. Do one here. Don't beat her flat. So it wasn't a shitty match. It was just shitty because of who was in it and how it was done. And I as soon as 1, 2, 3, I fucking give up. I couldn't wait for this fucking thing to be over with. I gave up on this whole fucking show. What'd you think of this thing?
I don't disagree with a lot of what you said. I put that out of my mind. I enjoyed the match. I liked the match. It was a fun match. I don't agree with the finish. When it happened, my thought was, are they bringing her to the main roster? I'm not saying that justifies Io Shirai beating her.
That used to work when you beat somebody on their way out when they were leaving one place and going to another place.
They do that with everyone in NXT.
You can't leave one place. They're on national TV. You're not leaving. You're just switching fucking shows.
Who was the last person that went to the main roster from NXT without doing a job?
Well, they need to rethink their shit because it doesn't apply anymore.
I don't disagree.
They weren't on national TV. That's one thing.
But that's what they do. And they could use star power like Rhea Ripley on the main roster. And quite frankly, I mean, Vince McMahon could fuck up anything. But it would be very hard to fuck up Rhea Ripley more than she's been fucked up since WrestleMania. They have blown it with the biggest potential female star in wrestling. She's great in the ring. She's great with all the small things in the ring. She's gorgeous. She does a promo. And
that's the thing. You just actually don't drop the qualifier with the field of talent that they have right now. She not just could be their top female star. She might be their top star because the merchandising, I'm going insane thinking of the merchandising and the posters and the shirts and the calendars and the whatever the fuck and the Rhea Ripley pajamas. I don't know. But I can't believe with the lack of serious mainstream superstar top level talent that they've already got, that they can't grab the few that they have here that can actually make it and do something with them without trying. Have they just given up and they're just trying to appeal to the fucking crowd that's just going to watch the technical wrestling exhibitions of all of the indie level wrestlers?
You said it last week. And I think it applies to what you just said. They're obviously not treating this like a ratings war anymore. They're just doing...
No, that's obvious.
They're just doing their show. So I don't think... I don't even know what the purpose of the show is sometimes. I'm like, why is this show here? But,
closing thoughts on Rhea Ripley.
She's great. She's a star. I enjoyed the match. I don't disagree with your general thoughts about the idea that she lost to a girl who's 5'2". But I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think Io Shirai has shown that she's really talented in the ring. I don't know who she's going to work with next, but Rhea Ripley should be on the main roster, and she should be used like the star that she is, and I have very little faith in the WWE system, and I think they're going to mess her up, like they already have in NXT this year. And those are my closing thoughts. She's fantastic.
Alrighty.
She's fantastic, though. I can't rave enough about her.
Wonderful main event on a shitty program.
But that wasn't the end of the show.
It wasn't the end of the show?
Oh, come on. Oh,
No,
come on.
I thought that was the main event. As soon as I saw her get beat, I said, fuck it, and hit stop.
Oh, my God. You missed the best part of the show.
Okay, what was the rest of the show then?
So Finn Balor shows up to do a promo to talk about what's going on with him. You know, he's the NXT champion, broke his jaw in the match with Kyle O'Reilly. He gets out there, he starts talking. All of a sudden, McAfee and his stable, I don't know if his stable has a name or not, but they come out. And, you know, McAfee's so good on the mic, you almost believe what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best tag team in wrestling. You know, he seems convinced. You know, he was almost convincing me.
There must be something to it.
He is fantastic on the mic. He's just great. He's one of the best heels, if not the best heel in the business. It comes natural to him.
Well, now that MJF's moved over into song and dance and the variety shows,
yeah,
because we ain't going to see McAfee, and he doesn't have to, is the good thing. We ain't going to see him doing fucking song and dances with his opponents. And all, he's into wrestling because he likes wrestling and he wants to be in wrestling. He doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
We won't see him doing that. So he is now the best heel in the business.
He is great. So he's cutting this promo and basically intimidating Balor. And then Balor says, well, you know, I brought some friends with me, and the Undisputed Era music hits. And then, boom, there they are, and they run out. So now you have them brawling with McAfee and his people around ringside. And Adam Cole, you have to see this if you haven't seen it. He kicks McAfee.
Well, obviously I hadn't seen it because I didn't know it happened.
Well, the GIF was going around on Twitter. I mean, I'd almost spoiled it for me before I actually watched it. Adam Cole kicked McAfee right in the face. And McAfee went down, and it looked great. So here they are to save this garbage show, the Undisputed Era.
Well, great. So I sat there for an hour and 57 minutes trying to see some talent, and I finally got so disgusted by what they did to the only real piece of talent, well, one of the only two pieces of talent that I saw, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, that I turned the show off and missed the best part.
This was the thing where I said at the top where my DVR, I'm watching and I'm like, oh my God, there's only 30 seconds left. What's going on here? And then it got it. It caught the whole thing. And then it cut off. McAfee was great. Undisputed Era, was nice to see them again. Nice to see real stars on the show. Really good. You should go out of your way to see that.
Well, apparently I'm going to have to now because I deleted this shit.
You got to see the kick. At a minimum, you got to see Adam Cole. Because remember, McAfee knocked Cole out with a kick to the head before their match. Adam Cole kicks him. You have to see this.